What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Now, first of all, I want to say thank you all very much for subscribing and watching the videos. Especially in September of 2020, it was the all-time biggest month in the history of this channel, which is saying quite a bit when you look at the history all the way back from when this channel first started getting kind of noticed in late 2015, early 2016. This channel had over 500,000 views in September, and that was by far the biggest month in the history of this channel. So thank you all very much. And let's talk about Metroid Prime 4, because of course that's why you're here. You want to see what's going on here with this game, and this is very exciting information. In fact, I do believe this is the first video that is going to be covering this online. I don't think anyone else has talked about this yet. I do believe this is the first time we are sharing this information on YouTube, and it's very exciting. This might actually be the biggest and most important update thus far to Metroid Prime 4 that we have yet seen or covered on this channel. It is extremely exciting, and I can't wait to talk about it here. It has been very exciting to see all the progress the game has made, all the different types of assets they're using, all different types of programs and state-of-the-art technology, and all the amazing developers they've hired on from other studios to make this very huge quadruple A Nintendo product, which might end up being the most expensive game Nintendo ever made thus far, besides maybe Breath of the Wild, which of course had a extremely big budget. This just might be the one. However, the huge information that we're going to discuss in this video is that it appears quite clearly that Metroid Prime 4 has in fact entered into pre-alpha build status, which means that the game is most likely fully playable from beginning to end, and there is currently a build out there that Retro Studios is testing and wanting to get AAA product testers, quality assurance, to play through this build of the game, and whether or not to look for bugs or things that they can improve upon, or different issues with the game like defects and things like that. And the reason why this is so exciting is because this is in fact the first time Retro Studios has actually hired people to test this game in some type of form, and it looks like I said, to be some type of pre-alpha build. Now they are hiring 3 different contract product testers for Metroid Prime 4, and this is on their career page. They just posted this a few days ago on September 30th. They are hiring 3 different contract product testers with AAA quality assurance backgrounds. So while this does not give us a date or anything to know when the game is going to be released, it does give us a major update on where the game is in its current state. So basically they're going to be playing this game now, and they're going to be going through the entire game looking for ways they can improve upon it and fix certain issues they had with the game so far. And as we covered on this channel for the past year or so, they've already put together a lot of the pieces that form the actual gameplay, the game itself, the environments, all the art and all the assets and all the actual technology part of it. It appears they put a base or foundation of it together already, and it's ready to be product tested. And if you compare this to other games, other big AAA or quadruple A quote-unquote games on other systems or other platforms or other companies, like CD Projekt Red is a very good example. Cyberpunk 2077, if you recall, back at E3 2018, had its first gameplay debut, and that was 2 years ago. And CD Projekt Red revealed in interviews at E3 2018 that the game was in fact fully playable from beginning to end. However, there was a lot of work still to be done with the game to fix various bugs, to change certain things here and there as they play through it with product testing and things like that. And here we are with Metroid Prime 4, a similar type of situation. We've been estimating maybe late 2021, 2022 that the game would be ready. And with a game of this magnitude, a pre-alpha build in 2020 does make sense for it to be ready to be play tested, and for them to change anything they need to change with the game right now, to play through the entire game as it is right now and make those adjustments before it is released, to make sure every aspect of the game is in fact of the highest quality. That is extremely important for a game of this magnitude and of the amount of talent they've hired. We talked about the God of War developer they hired, and people from Call of Duty, from Tomb Raider, from Battlefield, Battlefront, all these different types of AAA games that they've hired on to make Metroid Prime 4. quality control and quality assurance is of utmost importance for a game in pre-alpha state, because that will form exactly how the final product will eventually end up. So these 3 AAA product tester hires that they have on contract is a huge, very, very important move by Retro Studios, signifying a very clear point where we're at in game development for Metroid Prime 4. And again, I can't stress enough how big this information is. If you're excited about Metroid Prime 4, this is a huge, huge information, a big update. Very likely the biggest one we've had so far. So let's dive into this job description here for the 3 different product testers for Metroid Prime 4. So it brings out a contract product tester, and these are all the same 3 different product testers that they're hiring for, the same exact job descriptions. It says, description of duties: develop and execute test plans to confirm developer requirements and discover defects in pre-release software, basically pre-alpha software. Create detailed reports of defects for development staff on a daily basis. Tests and verifies resolved defects to ensure quality control. Maintaining and updating development hardware for staff. That's interesting, development hardware. Identify and execute testing with minimal guidance. Works closely with retro production and development staff to debug issues. Assists in testing in-house tools used in development. Ensures defects are properly tracked. And let's look at the summary of requirements also that they do need as well, because this is very important in the grand scheme of things. It says 4+ years of quality assurance experience required. Experience working on and shipping AAA titles required. Excellent knowledge of video game industry. Working knowledge of video game development process. Thorough knowledge of Nintendo and competitor products. Ability to efficiently and effectively identify software problems. PC skills, and they include Excel, Word, GIRA, Confluence, and video capture software. Understanding of technical libraries used in video game development. Excellent organizational and interpersonal skills required. Previous experience with file management, bug tracking, product testing required. Wow. So this is basically the real deal, the full-on, big-time AAA quality assurance testers that have had experience on these types of games in the past for whatever game you can think of, basically like whatever big game most likely that you can think of that's come out in the past 5 to 10 years. They want guys like that who have been on their quality assurance teams. Games as big basically as the games we've been talking about from these hires. They've been hiring from those games that they've made. Games like Call of Duty, games like God of War, games like Uncharted, Tomb Raider, you know, these huge big budget games. They want to have guys who have had experience actually quality assurance testing games like that on Metroid Prime 4, and they're doing it right now as of September 30th, which means they have a build, like we talked about, ready for testing, ready for playthrough, and very, very likely, I'm going to say this again, it's extremely likely at this point that this pre-alpha build they have is in fact fully playable all the way from beginning to end. They have their storyboards ready, they have their cutscenes most likely going, they have their gameplay mechanics, they have their level structures. The game is basically ready to be played in its pre-alpha format, and now it's time to debug and to update it and to see what they can do better, most likely for finding certain things that don't work in the game. Maybe there's certain gameplay aspects in the game, of course it's pre-alpha, that simply don't work at this point and they need to fix them, or maybe they haven't been discovered yet and they need to test them out in certain situations to make sure they do work in the final product. So all these quality assurance aspects that they're going to be doing with these people that they're hiring as a contract position are going to assure that these things work just right in the final product. Another interesting thing that was brought out in the job description part of it was that they're going to be maintaining and updating development hardware for the staff. So there has been, talk and speculation, of course, that this Metroid Prime 4 could in fact be running on different hardware that Nintendo is highly rumored and talked about to be working on for the past few years. And if you have to think, if the reports are correct that this new hardware is going to be introduced soon, in the very first part of 2021, Metroid Prime 4 is most likely already being targeted for that new Switch piece of hardware that they're working on. And in this development saga, I do in fact believe this is the biggest update we've seen yet as far as the progress of the game is concerned. I'm really excited to see this game. I do think we're going to see a trailer soon, very soon. And I'm just going to throw this out there. I think the very latest we would actually see a trailer for Metroid Prime 4 would be E3 of 2021. But I do think possibly the soonest we would see it could be at the end of 2020, quite possibly at the Game Awards. There is that slight possibility. We can't rule anything out here, guys, because the game is in development big time, and it's making a huge amount of progress. So I wouldn't rule out a trailer for this game at the end of 2020, and I wouldn't rule out, of course, by any means, a trailer for this game in 2021. I do think we will see it next year for sure. This is a very, very big step forward for Metroid Prime 4, and I know Nintendo is like on a case-by-case basis as far as when they show games. Like they showed Breath of the Wild 2 in 2019, we haven't seen it since. And with Metroid Prime 4, we haven't seen anything at all since they announced it. Some games they show within 2 months of release, some games they show way far out, depending on how big the games are. And in 2020, quite frankly, the games have not been that big from what they showed, so they have a very, quick time from when they showed them to when they released them. Metroid Prime 4, though, they could actually show this game with about a year or so left in development to get the ball rolling, to get the hype going for it. So there's a lot of things here Nintendo could be showing to get all these things going, because it looks like they do have a product ready to test and ready to show in pre-alpha format. And in conjunction with that, the budget for this game, no doubt, is ginormous. So you gotta think they're gonna have a huge marketing campaign that's gonna last at least 6 months leading up to the release. There's gonna be all kinds of previews for it, gameplay previews, and trailers and updates when we finally get this game revealed, because this is a huge game for Nintendo and a huge game for the Metroid franchise. I do think we're at a point that Nintendo could simply flip a switch, no pun intended, but they could simply flip a switch and a trailer could drop for this game at any time. So with the way it's going, it looks like that is the case, and we'll just have to wait for Nintendo to make that decision whenever that decision is. But either way, like I said, this is a huge update, and it's a very big stepping stone for this game in its development. I can't wait to hear more. Alright guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you very soon in the next video. Have a great day.